Hello everyone, and welcome back to the channel, or welcome if it's your first time here. If you just stumbled in, congratulations. You found the last corner on the internet where people still tell it how it is. Battlefield 6. The beta, playtest, whatever marketing word they're using this week, has just dropped, and the biggest talking point from the community seems to be this. It's too fast, and they're trying to appease the Call of Duty soy boys. Now, I've heard some hot takes in my time, some truly Olympic level mental gymnastics. But this one's a good one. We're going to pick it apart today, because the real problem with Battlefield 6 isn't its speed. No. The real problem is what's going on between your ears. And not in a medical way, although judging by some comment sections, maybe in a medical way? Alright. Let's address the elephant in the room, and by elephant, I mean this too fast narrative stampeding across Reddit, Twitter, and YouTube comment sections like it's gospel truth. Yes, the game is a bit quicker than Battlefield 3 or 4. Movements snappier, gunplay feels tighter, engagements happen sooner. I'm not denying that. But here's the twist. So does literally every other FPS on the market right now. And keep in mind, my background is in a game renowned for being slow-paced, and the developers actually slowed it down even more. Yes, I'm talking about Squad. So I'm not coming at this to defend the Call of Duty corner. I'm calling it how I see it. You also have to remember the three maps we were given are heavily close-quartered based. In any shooter, in any FPS, CQB speeds things up. That's where that rush comes in. If your only exposure is these tiny maps, of course it's going to feel like everyone's on Red Bull and espresso shots. I love how people act like there's some official Battlefield speed limit. Like, excuse me sir, you were sprinting at 8.5 meters per second. This is a Battlefield 4 zone, maximum allowed is 7.2. What's next? Radar guns on Operation Metro? We clocked you bunny hopping, that's 3 penalty tickets and a suspension of your revive privileges. We all know games like Apex Legends, Call of Duty, Valorant, they've gone all in on pace, fluidity, instant action. That's the industry standard in 2025. The days of, I'm going to walk across this map for an unbeknown amount of time before I even see a single pixel of an enemy, that's now in a niche corner of gaming. If you want to know that, you're basically left with armor or squad. And here's the kicker. The same people yelling too fast now would also be the same ones moaning, it's too slow if it stuck to the old pace or was more like squad and armor. And it's not just gaming, everything's faster now. Internet speeds, food delivery, cars, the way Netflix cancels your favourite show before the credits even finish rolling. We're conditioned for instant gratification. You can order a burrito, stream a 4K movie, and trade cryptocurrency all while sitting on the toilet. And don't lie, you're sat there right now, aren't you? Yes, you might want to move your legs before you get pins and needles. It's like ordering Uber Eats now versus 10 years ago. In 2013, you'd order a pizza and the app would say, estimated delivery when the moon rises. And you were fine with that. In 2025, if my burrito isn't at my door in under 12 minutes, I'm drafting an angry email to customer support whilst tracking the delivery driver like a military drone strike. So even when Battlefield 6 shaves a few milliseconds off ADS speed, of course it feels like a big deal. Especially for someone whose last Battlefield experience was over a decade ago. Your brain is comparing a modern TikTok attention span shooter to something from the long-form YouTube essay era. Let's get real. Battlefield 3 came out in 2011 and Battlefield 4 in 2013. That's 10 to 14 years ago. Back then, we were younger. Our reflexes were sharper, our knees worked, and most importantly, we were used to those mechanics. Now, most of us are probably playing after work, between looking after the kids, or whilst our knees make a sound like bubble wrap every time we stand up. And here's the thing, your brain has edited those memories. You remember the big epic moments, the skyscraper collapse, the chopper pilot who actually knew what they were doing. You don't remember the downtime, the spawn runs, or that one match where you spent 5 minutes running just to be flattened by a tank or that sniper, who, by the way, back then, they had sniper glint, so let's not start on that one. Our brains run a free photo editing software called Selective Memory. It removes all the ugly parts, the endless jogs, the matches where you were spawn killed 6 times in a row, the squad mate who drove a jeep straight into the ocean because he thought it was a shortcut. All of that gets cropped out, and what's left is you and your buddies storming a flag in perfect cinematic lighting. See, this is why people look back at Project Reality with such fond memories, because everything is hazed with those rose-tinted glasses. If you boot up Battlefield 3 or 4 today, you'll be shocked at how quick they actually feel, especially on tight maps like Metro or Locker. Nostalgia isn't a time machine, it's Photoshop for your memories. You know, even now, games on Battlefield 3 are played quicker because people naturally play things faster. It's just how we've progressed. But here's the smoking gun. This playtest has been all small, tight, close quarter maps. No sprawling deserts with jets dogfighting in the stratosphere whilst you're 400 meters away with a bipod the size of a coffee table. Put 64 players into a glorified shoebox and the time between fights is practically zero. It tricks your brain into thinking the whole game is faster, when in reality, it's just the map design creating constant engagements. Add in shorter time to kill, snappier animations, modern movement mechanics like the sliding, which I do think is a bit peculiar, but hey, it's funny as hell when you nail someone in the head with an RPG whilst they're sliding along the pitch like they're Darwin Núñez. And suddenly, you're convinced you're playing Call of Duty in a trench coat and sunglasses. And remember, once we get the large-scale maps with vehicles, the long sight lines, the slower pacing, these too fast takes are probably going to look ridiculous in hindsight. But here's the truth bomb. Battlefield 6 isn't too fast. It's different. Your perception, shaped by nostalgia, years away from the series, and playing games like Squad and Armor, and a map pool designed for chaos, that's the culprit. This isn't a mechanical disaster. It's a psychological one. Your expectations were built in 2013, and now they're colliding with a 2025 game destined to fit the modern FPS landscape. And I get it. Some of you want the slower, methodical Battlefield, and I think that we will get that with larger maps in the full release. But if we get modding support, you can almost guarantee that there will be a version of the Project Reality mod make its way to Battlefield 6. It's literally written in the stars. If he hasn't hit it already, you can guarantee that's the video that will put Slogs past 100,000 subs. But right now, judging the whole game from a handful of small map playtests is like judging a restaurant's entire menu because you didn't like the free bread. So here's my verdict. Battlefield 6 isn't too fast. And keep in mind, I'm nearly 40. Your nostalgia just needs to sit down and have a nice cup of... This is 2025, not 2013. I mean, there are things you can do to help alleviate your experience and perhaps enhance your reaction times and bits and pieces. I'm not going to basically say what it is, but the consumption of said things sounds like this. What do you think? Is it genuinely faster? Or is it just perception and map design messing with us? I want to know your thoughts down below, because I'll be reading them. Probably whilst my Uber Eats driver is pulling up in... Well, he's got less than 10 minutes now because we live in the future. Smash the subscribe button if you haven't already. I'm aiming for that next milestone faster than Battlefield 6's sprint animation, which is 35,000. And I will see you in the next one. Take care. Good night.